Hey math fans, we're half done. Test 12, lesson 4, and if your swords are ready, let's go. Today we're going to talk about how to find missing operations in an equation, find fractions, and find a percent of a number. So first of all, let's talk about finding missing operations. So here we have an equation, but the operation signs are missing. So we want to fill in the missing operation signs to make the statement true and use brackets if we need to. We won't, because this is an easy one I just picked as an example. So I have 4 something 2 something 3 equals 11. So the best way to do this is with guess and check. I'm just going to try. 4 plus 2 would give me 6. And there's nothing I can do with a 3 and a 6 to get 11, so that can't be right. Let's try 4 divided by 2 would give me 2. And there's nothing I can do with a 2 and a 3 that would give me 11, so that can't be right. 4 times 2 would give me 8. And 8 plus 3 is 11, so that should work. And then I'll just double check, of course, as I always do, to make sure that I did it correctly. 4 times 2 plus 3, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 plus 3 equals 11. So now I have the correct symbols. Sorry, I just cleaned that up there for us so we have a bit more room to work. Let's try, and I kind of gave you hints that we need to put brackets in. Let's try putting brackets in here. So if I do that, I could do 3 plus 2. And that would give me 5 something 2 and 8. I think I see it. 5 times 2 would give me 10, and 10 take away 8 would equal 2. So I think that's right. But as always, I'm not going to assume it's right until I've checked. So if I do this equation, I have 3 plus 2 times 2 minus 8, which is 5 times 2 minus 8, which is 10 minus 8, which equals 2. I'm good. Pause the video here and give this one a try. There's no brackets, so there's your hint. Give this one a try, and when you come back, I'll have the answer for you. So see if this was your answer. 6 divided by 2 times 5 plus 4 equals 19. So I'll just double check that's right. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Remember, I do multiplication and division in the order they occur. So 3 times 5 plus 4. Next I'll do my multiplication. 15 plus 4 equals 19. So it should be 6 divided by 2 times 5 plus 4 equals 19. These aren't too hard, they just take a while to figure out. Next up, let's talk about how to find fractions. So in this case, when I say find fractions, I really mean add and subtract them. Drake is having a pizza party, and he wants to make sure all the pizzas get eaten. He has 4 pepperoni, 6 Hawaiian, and 3 cheese pizzas. 4 3/8 of the pizzas are gone. How many are left? So first of all, let's find out how many pizzas there were altogether. So there were 4, 6, and 3. I know 4 and 6 is 10 plus 3, so there were 13 pizzas to start. And 4 3/8 of them are gone. Now remember that bottom number 8 means how many are in a hole. So from that I can figure out that the pizzas are all cut into 8. To figure out the answer to this question, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to skip up to 5. So there's going to be a little bit that goes in here that will get me to 5. And then I know that there will be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That didn't work at all. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pizzas and a little bit. How much is the little bit? Well, 3/8 is eaten. So what plus 3 will give me 8? 5 will. 5/8. So there are 5 and 5/8 of a pizza left to be eaten. His pizza party is not going very well if he wants to use all the pizzas up. So here's one you can try on your own. Gina has to write a 10-paragraph review for a video game magazine. If she has written 3 3/4 of a paragraph, how many paragraphs does she have left to go? Pause the video here, try to answer that question, and as always, when you come back, I'll have the answer. So I know Gina needs 10 paragraphs, and she's written 3 and a bit. So I'm going to round that up to 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. So I know she still has to write 6 full paragraphs. And there's going to be a fraction as well. So she's written 3. I've already dealt with the 3. She's also written 3/4 of another paragraph. So if she's 3/4 done, how much of the paragraph does she need to write to finish it? Well, To finish it, she would need to have written all 4 parts of it. The bottom never changes. So basically, this question is simply asking me 3 plus blank equals 4. And hopefully you know that the answer would be 1. So what part of the paragraph does she have left to do? 1/4. She still has to write 6 1/4 paragraphs to be finished. And lastly, we're going to talk about how to find a percent of a number. Now, this is a tricky concept, but it's really useful and you'll keep using it your whole life, so bear with me. The important thing to remember here is that percents are ratios out of 100. So 30% is exactly the same as saying 30 parts out of 100. So what would be 90% of 100? Hopefully the answer is obvious. It would be 90, because 90% of 100 is the same as saying, how many parts is that out of 100? Well, 90% is 90 parts out of 100. That much so far shouldn't be too hard. What if, though, the question wants me to find 90% of 200? So what I have to do then is I have to recognize that what I'm looking for is just an equivalent ratio. I want to find out what 90 out of 100 would equal if it was out of 200. And there's a very special way we do that. That way is called cross multiplication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two guys. I assigned this a value. I assigned the question mark the value of r just for the heck of it. So I'm going to take these two guys, making an x, and do 90 times 200, which you can see I've put down here. And then I'm going to go the other way and do 100 times r, which you can see I've done over here. And they're going to equal each other. Okay, so 90 times 200 equals 100 times r. So now I've done that multiplication, and I found that 90 times 200 is 18,000. 1, 2, 3 zeros in the question, 1, 2, 3 zeros in the answer. 9 times 2 is 18. 18,000 is equal to 100 times r. Now, I don't know what r is still, but simple fact families is going to help me figure it out. Because if I know that 18,000 is equal to 100 times r, that means r is going to be equal to 18,000 divided by 100. And anytime I have zeros, very easy, I just take out the zeros. There's my answer. R is equal to 180. So what is 90% of 200? 90% of 200 is 180. And you can see that 100 and 200, 100 doubles to 200 and 90 doubles to 180. So in this one it wasn't that hard, but we're going to look at a trickier one. So what if I want to find 85% of 2049? How would I set up that equation? Just stop and think for a minute. What would it look like? Hopefully it looked like this in your head. You're going to have 85 out of 100, because that's what 85% means, equals how much out of 2049? We don't know what 85% of 2049 is. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to set up my cross multiplication. So on one side I'll have 85 times 2049, and that's going to be equal to 100 times p. Now I really don't feel like doing 85 times 2049 in my head, so I'm going to grab a calculator. And when I got my calculator, I found out that 85 times 2049 equals 174,165, which equals 10 times p, which I just realized looks like xp. So I'm going to do 174,165 divided by 100 on my calculator. And what I get is 1,741 decimal 65 and 65 hundredths. I'm going to round that up. So I'm going to say that 85% of 2049 is 1,742. So here's your review, and then I have a maths mansion for you. I know this lesson is a little bit long, so I'm going to make the maths mansion optional. You don't have to do it. However, I would strongly, strongly recommend you do it because it's very useful. It's about percentages. So here's your review. Fill in the blanks using brackets if needed. 45 something 4 something 5 something 1 equals 26. Number 2, Jen has eaten 4.5 boxes of ice cream this year. There were 12 to begin with. How many are left in the freezer? And number 3, what is 26% of 78? Pause the video here to do the review, and when you come back, I'll give you the maths mansion link. So here's the link to Maths Mansion, and if you don't do it today, please try to do it sometime this week. It really is useful. It's www.tinyurl.com/mathsmansion%. And again, it's just about 9 minutes long. Really useful percent information. So unless you are 100% solid and 100% certain you have no questions about percent, please, please, please take a look at that. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.